Hey guys, what's up? Penguin Pat here, fresh off a new city redesign, and today we're going to be talking about the 2020 Halloween event. I missed the Halloween event last year, and I'm kind of bummed out. The prize from last year was pretty awesome, that abandoned asylum, and on top of that, I really love that they changed the minigame to be the same style of minigame as the archaeology event. I particularly like this minigame because it is more skill based than some of the other minigames for getting prizes, and of course, that means that if you are particularly good at this minigame, you can actually really load up on prizes. Whereas if you are not particularly good at this minigame, you can kind of get gypped. So at the end of this video, I'll do a voiceover on me working through the minigame and just kind of talk about some of the strategies that I use to maximize the prizes that I get from the minigame. So on let's breaking away from that for a second. Let's just talk about the prizes for this event because I am in love. These prizes, this event, are so freaking good. It's crazy. This House of Horrors is I just love it. It's really awesome. The House of the Wolf in particular is just fantastic. So what we have here is we have a building that is 3 by 4. So it's not a huge building. It's only 12 squares, but in those 12 squares, especially in your higher ages, getting 14% attack for defensing, or excuse me, defense for attacking army and attack for attacking army. That is like literally adding 28 levels to one of your attack buildings, which is absolutely insane. And that's for only 12 squares. Now, obviously, in the lower ages, it's not quite as big of a bonus, but still, even here in future, you're looking at more than 1% per square for each of those. That this building is probably the best building in the game right now, in my opinion, if you are a fighter. Now, if you are worried about forge point production, this building is a little bit lackluster. It's only 4 forge points in 12 squares, so that's nothing to write home about. But at the end of the day, especially as you get later in the game, you're not going to need as much forge point production. You are going to be looking in for this fighting stats, and this building has some freaking crazy fighting stats. So on top of that, this event is just loaded with good dailies too. Looking at the beta prize list, now keep in mind that the beta prize list, the day that the prizes come up, cannot be trusted. And additionally, we've had times where sometimes prizes that showed up in beta did not show up in the live server. But I feel pretty confident this list is going to be consistent with what we see on live. We see the Abandoned Asylum selection kit comes up a couple times. We see that the Dark Doorway comes up a couple times. We see Sentinel Outpost. We see the Sentinel Outpost upgrade. I got those backwards again. And then we have the Wishing Well and the Wishing Well Shrink Kit. So this event has a little bit of daily prize for everyone and for every city. Now, which prize you should go for is going to depend significantly on where you are in the game. Now, if you are a beginning player and your arc isn't level 80 yet and you're still just trying to make your way in the world and get your great buildings leveled, then I highly recommend targeting the Dark Doorway. And here's why. The Dark Doorway gives you 3 forge points not per square. It gives you 1 forge point per 3 squares. It's 3 forge points per daily prize. And what my experience has been is that NO kind of tunes the events so that you get anywhere between 10 and 15 daily prizes as long as you go through all of the quests, you complete the event, you do everything that you can do to maximize the event without spending diamonds. You're going to get between 10 and 15 daily prizes. And in this case, if we're talking about getting 10 and 15 dark doorways, that's adding between 30 and 45 forge points per day from a single event. And that is just crazy. Now, when I first started playing, getting like an extra 5 or 10 forge points in an event would have been like amazing. So being able to add that many forge points from a single event is really, really good. Now, as you become a more developed player and your arc gets level 80 and you start having more ways of making forge points where you're not so dependent on your daily collection, then that's when the Dark Doorway starts to kind of fall down in priority and you want to start looking at some other things. Now, the Abandoned Asylum is kind of a weird piece for me because it is a really solid piece, but the thing that I have against it is that we got 24% attack for at the top age and even less at lower ages for 25 squares because this is a pretty big piece. Now, you do get a ton of forge points, but you also have to get 9 of these things to to get a fully upgraded piece. And that's a lot of daily prizes. You're most likely not going to get two fully upgraded abandoned asylums unless you spend diamonds, which I know a lot of people don't want to do. So my recommendation for a player would be is that if you had, say last year, you didn't quite finish out an abandoned asylum, or you got partway through a second one but you never finished, you're just trying to finish up, go ahead and finish up. But I would definitely recommend, instead of continuing to target this piece, to go ahead and pick up your Sentinel Outpost and your Sentinel Outpost upgrades, because that's going to be a much better per daily prize return than what you get from just going for the abandoned asylums. That's just my opinion, to each their own. The abandoned asylum has really terrific forge point production, 11 forge points in 25 squares. Really good if you're one of those goobers that uses Blue Galaxy. So there's a lot to love here. All right, so that's the main thing to know about this event, is that the prizes are really, really good. This is definitely an event that you do not want to skip. And if you are the type of player that is inclined to spend diamonds, this is one of those events that I definitely think has a lot of potential. And I think that you'll be happy that you spent diamonds on it. Events like the last event, the prizes were really good, but I don't feel like the type of return that you got for what you spent on the diamonds was worth it. So that's all I have to say about the prizes. So in a second, I'm going to go ahead and end this clip, and I'm going to cut in me working through an archaeology event on beta, and I'm just going to kind of give some commentary about the approach that I took, and hopefully this will help you to get more prizes and to get more from this event than you would have otherwise. And I will catch you in the next part of this video. All right, guys, welcome back. So I'm trying something new, which is I'm trying to do a voiceover based on a recording that I made. When I did this real time and I listened to the recording, I just felt like I kept getting a little bit too distracted, which is saying a lot since I'm pretty much always distracted when I'm recording. But this recording, and I listened back, it was particularly just hard to follow. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of narrate what I'm doing in this event and try to explain how I'm trying to maximize my tools in order to get the most prizes. And one of the biggest mistakes that I see players make when they are doing this type of event and the archaeology event is they feel this strange urge and compulsion to make sure that they clear out every single block. And that is the wrong way to approach it. You want to just try to maximize how many blocks you reveal, not just how many you break, but also how many you make visible. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you buy the right stuff in the tool shop. Now, there are two things that you either want to buy. You either want to buy the biggest kit, which you see here, because that's more than twice as good as the small kit. Or there are certain situations where I do recommend just buying individual candles. They're only 10 tickets, and that's not wildly far off from what you get from doing from buying the bundle. And sometimes you just need candles to be able to get into a position to make it so that your flashlight and your lantern give you the max use. So there you saw that I used the lantern to reveal a whole bunch of blocks. And really the big thing is that you always want to be positioning yourself so that anytime you use a tool, you're revealing as many blocks as possible, not just necessarily breaking blocks, but also because it allows you to see the adjacent block. It lets you know, okay, I need to go and retrieve that piece in that area, or it lets you know that you can keep moving. So like in this case, I see that I can go up and get that lantern, but I'm leaving that bottom left block alone, and I'm not going back for it. I'm not trying to reveal it, because I don't know this for sure, but just thinking through the way that the developers likely would have programmed this, each of these blocks populates at random. So you're just as likely for this block in the bottom left corner to have something useful as a block in the next block that you reveal. Now that was a really great flashlight, and the reason why is because it revealed not only the column that I hit, but also the left-hand column and the right-hand column. That revealed a ton of information to us. And a mistake, again, that a lot of players make is that they'll use their flashlight prematurely and they'll use it before they need it. So they're only revealing one column. In this case, I revealed 3 columns, which is a much better use of tools. So I'm not going to go too much further in this because it can get really boring. But here's a case where I did want to show a little bit of strategy. I could go up here across the top where you see me moving my mouse, but instead I'm going to move right here through the middle. And the reason why is if I went through the top, I would only be uncovering one, fog thing. But by going through the middle, I actually uncover the 2 fog. I don't know if you can see what I mean, the difference in that. But basically, it just gave me more information by going in the middle. I was going to have to spin 2 candles anyway. And now here's a perfect opportunity to go ahead and drop a flashlight, because the flashlight's going to reveal a lot of information about all the columns around us. So again, the big takeaway that I want you as a player to realize is that a lot of times it's not so much about just rushing to uncover everything. See here, instead of just rushing to uncover with the candle, I'm getting more information, and now I can use this lantern, which is uncovering even more blocks than what I would have done if I'd used just a candle or if I tried to use the flashlight. So again, definitely try to use your tools in a creative way, and keep in mind that you're going to end up getting more prizes the more you're able to uncover. And see here, again, this is another case where I pushed far past where I needed to go in order to use that flashlight. And once I uncover that information, it lets me know whether I need to go back to the left to pick stuff back up, or whether I can just keep pushing forward instead. All right, guys. I'm not going to bore you anymore with this, because I realized that I could do this for 30 minutes and whatnot, and it's just not going to be helpful. Feel free to leave questions in the comments below and let me know if you have any questions about how to maximize your prize. And also, do you have a different strategy? Is there something else that you're doing that you think is helping you to get even more rewards and more prizes from this event? I'd also like to know that, because I'm always interested. I'm always looking for ways to improve. And if you have a way that you can improve on what I'm doing, I will first of all implement it myself, and second of all, I will give you credit on this channel and let people know where I got the idea from, because I think you guys deserve credit when you've got really creative ideas. All right, I guess that's all. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a like and subscribe, share it with your friends, and I will catch you later. Thanks, guys.